Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Gene Curl, and today's video is mostly a response video to the comments that I got in my last video. My last video was what broke my Mormon shelf, and this video is a response video to a bunch of the comments that I got. So I'm just going to go off some points here that and then go from there. The first thing is, people like to insinuate that I left the church because I didn't want to stay in the church. I didn't leave the church because I cared too little. I left the church because I cared too much. I didn't set out to try to prove the church was false. I set out to try to prove the church was true. I had questions, and I thought that the truth has nothing to fear from investigation, and I thought that when I investigated the church that I would find out that it was true, and I desperately wanted to believe the church was true. So I did everything that I could to prove to myself that the church was true, but everything that I found proved to me that it was false, not true. And I didn't just go to anti-Mormon sources, I went and looked at church sources as well, and the evidence just didn't hold up. But speaking of that, the church says that you should only investigate the church from their side point of view. They say you should only investigate the church from church's materials, that it's not fair to investigate it from the other side. But that is not the way the world works. If you were going to buy a product, you wouldn't just trust the company that made the product and trust them on it. You would want to go and do consumer reviews. Such as when I bought this camera that I'm using here for this video, I didn't just trust what Sony said about it, and I didn't just trust what the company that sold it to me said about it. I went and watched videos about it, what people who owned the camera, what they thought about it, the good, the bad, the ugly. I looked at consumer reviews. I looked at all kinds of information. I did lots and lots of research. And after I did all the research, found out the good, the bad, and the ugly about the camera, I decided that it was still worth buying. But the church doesn't want you to look at what people who are disaffected say about it. They don't want you to look at what science has to say about it. They don't want you to look at what anyone has to say about it but them. They say that you should only investigate it from their point of view. And that is not how it works. That's not a good way to investigate something. If somebody's trying to deceive you, of course they're going to tell you that they only want you to look at it from their point of view. But if something is true, they're not going to care if you look at it from all points, because the truth is going to bear out. Another thing I want to point out, in the comments on my last video, one person suggested that I didn't have my prayers answered because I was praying to the wrong God, that they tried to say that the LDS Church was worshiping Satan. And I want to say, I want to make sure, absolutely sure everybody knows, that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints absolutely 100% does not worship Satan. Okay? I'm going to make that clear. The LDS Church, the Mormon Church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, whatever you want to call it, it does not worship Satan at all. Not even slightly. Nothing in the church's doctrine, nothing in the church's history, nothing would indicate that they worship Satan. Okay? Now with that out of the way, I'll move on. People said that I wasn't sincere in my faith and I wasn't sincere in my prayers, which is frankly insulting. But I was sincere in my prayers and I was sincere in my faith. But my prayers weren't answered. I prayed for answers. I prayed for faith. I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I didn't get any answer to my prayers. For all of the good my prayers did, I might as well have been praying to a toaster. I prayed and prayed and received no answer at all. I prayed for faith. I prayed for knowledge that the church was true. I prayed for evidence, some kind of evidence that God was real. I wanted a relationship with God, and I prayed for a relationship with God, but I got no answers to my prayers at all. And when people say, well, just didn't pray to the right God. Well, you know what? I grew up Baptist, and I didn't have my prayers answered. And then after I left the Mormon church, I joined a mainstream church, and I still didn't have my prayers answered. So, you're not going to tell me that I just wasn't praying to the right God. That's insulting. People tell me that because I gave up on God and gave up on the Bible that I threw the baby out with the bathwater. But the thing is, I didn't throw the water out. I drained the water, and there was no baby to be found. I really sincerely wanted to believe in Jesus and the Bible, and I spent a lot of time watching apologist videos from well-known Christian apologists. I wound up spending a lot of time on websites such as Answers in Genesis, and their arguments were lacking, especially Answers in Genesis. I could check whatever Answers in Genesis said. I could check it against. I could go on to verify their information, and almost everything they said was demonstrably false. So Answers in Genesis is a joke. There is no real science at all involved in that website. But talking about faith in Jesus, having faith in Christ, having faith in the church, or anything like that, according to the Bible, faith is a gift. So according to the Bible, if I don't have faith, it's not my fault that I don't have faith. It's because God did not give me the gift of faith. And I've prayed for faith, but I did not get faith. So, according to the Bible, if I don't have faith in God, it's not my fault that I don't have faith. It's God's decision because God chose to not give me the gift of faith. I was also told that I needed to have that the reason that I fell away is because I didn't have a real relationship with God. I was told that I needed to have a real relationship with God, and that instead I just found religion. Well, here's the thing. It's extremely difficult to have a relationship with somebody when that relationship is one-sided. In all of my time in religion, in all my life, I have never felt that I had a relationship with God. I prayed and prayed and prayed, but I never felt that God was trying to have a relationship with me. It's difficult to have a relationship when that relationship is one-sided. I have, for quite a long time, had kind of a crush on Summer Glau. And I could say that I have more of a relationship with Summer Glau than I have with God, even though we've never met. Because I at least have proof that Summer Glau is real. And I have a poster that she signed for me. I had to pay for it. Well, I didn't pay for it. Somebody else paid for it for me. But I have this poster that she signed for me. And that is some proof that she exists. And the videos of her and everything. So I have a better relationship with Summer Glau than I have with God, even though I've never met Summer Glau. Because I've prayed and prayed and prayed and tried to have a relationship with God, but God has not tried to have a relationship with me. So either there is no God or God does not care about me. People say that my prayers weren't sincere and that's why God didn't answer my prayers. My prayers were sincere, and the reason none of my prayers were answered. Even when I prayed as a kid for important things, I didn't pray for stupid things growing up. I prayed for things like I prayed for food, I prayed for safety, I prayed for love, I prayed for not to be hit. I prayed for things like that, and I didn't get those things that I prayed for. So I came to the conclusion that either there is no God or God doesn't care for me. In another video, I plan on talking more about why specifically I don't believe in God and why I don't believe in the Bible. But that's not the purpose of this video. This video is mostly just to talk about the comments that I got in the last video. So, I want to make it clear, I did not leave the church because I cared too little. I left the church because I cared too much. I did not set out to try to prove the church was wrong. I set out to try to prove the church right. I thought that the evidence would show me the church was right, but the evidence did not show that. I was sincere in my prayers. I was sincere in my faith. And I did try to have a relationship with Jesus. If you have any questions or concerns, or any comments, leave them down below. Try to be civil. If you are coming here to try to convert me back to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or if you're trying to come here to convert me to Christianity, you are probably wasting your time, but feel free to comment anyway. I just want to let you know what your chances are. So I really appreciate you watching this video. If you have, as I said, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave them down below. If you got any use out of this video, I would appreciate it if you would click the like button. And if you haven't already and you like content like this, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.